Whoa, that's scary. Hi little pickles, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm coming to you barefaced and naked. I'm going to show you my updated foundation routine. So first things first, let's crack on with the face. I have already moisturised my face. Recently I have been absolutely loving this Superdrug range, and it is the Optimum Phytoglycage anti-glycation, anti-aging, SPF 15 day cream, and this is really nice. It has a slight tackiness to it after you've put it on, and I love that for underneath my foundation, so absolutely loving that. Next we're going to prime, and for the outer rim of my face I'm going to use the Max Factor Smooth Miracle Primer, and this is just a really kind of inexpensive primer, kind of a little bit thicker than a moisturiser I would say, and it's got that nice kind of smoothing texture to it, so I just like to use that on the outer portion of my face just to add a bit of moisturisation, and then I like to use more of a pore filling primer on the centre of my face, which is obviously my problem area. This just adds like a nice kind of sheen to the face, a softness, and then we are going to use the Smashbox Photo Finish. This is the colour correcting primer. I love this primer, I'm nearly out of this primer, and I like to take a little bit of that and just press that into this area here, a little bit here, mainly on the nose. Definitely struggle with pores around this cheek area and around my nose, which really get on my nerves, but what can you do? Your pores are your pores, so we just gotta fill them in. I feel like I'm rushing and I'm like getting out of breath. Right, so foundation, I'm going to use two different foundations. I'm going to use a lighter foundation and a darker foundation. The darker foundation I like to use on the outer portion of my face, and then the lighter foundation I like to use in the centre of my face. So they're both by Stila, and the one for the outside is in the shade Light Medium, and it is the Stila Aqua Glow Serum Foundation. Love the packaging of this. And then it's got the little dropper that you press the top. Love that. Just dot, oh Jesus, dot this all around the outside of my face. Very haphazardly, may I add. Just a little bit of that, just to kind of warm up the outside of my face, because we are kind of going for more of a bronzed look, and as you can see I am very fair, and this is the next foundation. It's the Stila Stay All Day Foundation, and this is in the shade Fair. This again has a really cute little applicator, whoop, comes out the top like that, and immediately then I'm just going to take my sponge, and this is the Eco Tool sponge, just going to dab that in, and I'm just going to press that into the areas where I didn't put the other foundation. I'm just going to start blending the centre and like work my way out. So as I work my way out, it just blends in with the darker foundation on the outside of my face. Don't forget to go into the hairline. I always struggle because I have such dark hair, but trying to get into the hairline so you don't have that white scalp compared to your face is always a must. And as you can see, it's like a really nice coverage, and it's not too matte, which I like. I like a kind of dewy finish, not too shimmery, but just kind of like a subtle glow. I don't like it when my face looks completely matte, because I think it highlights all the problem areas of my skin, and Lord knows I got a few. Next up, concealer. There you go, girl. Right there, right there. I'm gonna use the Makeup Revolution, or the Revolution Makeup, which I think they're now called. I think they've changed their name. And this is the Conceal and Define Full Coverage Conceal and Contour, and this is in the shade C1. And this is very light, but it is such a good concealer. Like, it has such good coverage, and I'm in love. So I just like to do a little bit in the centre, a little bit. And what I like to do is take the smaller of the Eco Tool sponges. I like the smaller one because you can get a little bit closer to the eye, and just start patting that in. And then what I like to do before I contour is just to set my under eyes, because they crease so badly. Now I'm a little bit nervous of using this powder because I ran out of my other powder. So this one I picked up today because I couldn't find my other one. And I do like a lot of their other products, so I'm hoping that this is going to work well. Please work well. If it doesn't, well, This is the W7 Set It Up Special Effects Finishing Powder, and this is just a white powder, setting powder. So I'm just going to pop a bit of that in the lid, and I'm just going to quickly just dab my under eyes again just to make sure that there's no creases. Just going to take a bit of that setting powder on the sponge and just pop that underneath the eye. Beautiful. And then to contour, I'm going to use the Stila. This is the Shape and Shade Custom Contour Duo, and this is in the shade Light. Looks really, really dark, this contour colour, but actually it blends like a dream. Grab the Stila, this is the contour brush, and I'm just going to take the larger end. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pat that just here, just coming down from the kind of temple area, like at a bit of an angle. I like to keep my contour quite far back. This cream contour kit is so beautiful, like even the highlight shades are so nice, and I often use that to kind of conceal or highlight this area here if I'm looking especially dark. But as you can see, like it blends in, like that was just a couple of dabs and it's just blended in. It's really, really nice, really, really subtle, and it just kind of melts into the skin. Like this is definitely one of my favourite contour products that I've ever bought. And then I'm just going to take the smaller side of that brush, just a little bit of nose contouring. I do normally prefer to do nose contouring with a powder, but I am just going to do a tiny little bit on the sides of my nose just here. And this brush is super cute for doing this. A bit of powder there, so I'm just going to do the areas that I haven't powdered, and then I'm going to go over it with a powder. Like as you can see, like you just kind of dab it a couple of times and it just kind of pushes into the skin. It's just really, really nice. This mirror is so dirty. Can't even see. Can't even see in it, can ya? Just like that. And then what I'm going to do is, again with that powder, I'm just going to take the smaller sponge and I'm just going to cut in here. And then to set this face for the areas that we haven't baked, I am going to use the IT Cosmetics Bye Bye Pores powder. And what I like to do is just take that and just take like a little powder puff. You did get one with it, but I feel like that one's too spongy. Like I don't really understand it's too spongy to kind of pop on, like it kind of pulls the product back on itself. So I just like to use a powder puff and just set the rest of my face. Now one thing I will warn you about with this powder, it is a translucent powder, but it does have a little bit of a kind of white sheen to it. So if you do have darker skin tone, I feel like this might be too light for darker skin tones. I'm not entirely sure, maybe I'm wrong, I'm not sure, but that's the thing I have noticed about this powder. Like it does have a little bit of a sheen to it, like as you can see, like here, like it's kind of lightened that contour a little bit. And now that that is done, I am going to take my IT Cosmetics, this is the Heavenly Luxe Wand Ball Powder Brush, the number 8, and I'm just gonna sweep over where I've just put that powder and just make sure that it's all kind of blended in and kick off this bake. So then what I'm going to do is add a bit of bronzer to the face, a bit of blush and a bit of highlight. And so the bronzer I'm going to use is the Cover FX. This is the light bronzer in the shade Sunkissed, and this is actually one of the nicest bronzers that I've found. Like it looks really, really light, but it's one of those bronzers that has a really cool undertone to it, and so when you have fair skin it just adds like a nice bit of dimension to your face without looking too orange. So many bronzers that I buy, literally I end up looking like I've got smudged orange all over my face. Like no matter how cool toned they look, I don't know why they always end up looking so orange, but this bronzer is so nice and it's completely matte, which again is really hard to find with drugstore bronzers. I find like quite a lot of them have a shimmer in them and I'm just not a fan. And then just with like a flat kind of tipped eyeshadow brush, I'm just going to take a bit of that bronzer and I'm just going to kind of sculpt out the sides of my nose. And for blush I'm going to use the W7 Very Vegan Powder Blush, and this is in the shade Maple Mist. This is obviously a vegan blush. And I'm going to take my Studio London brush and just, I love the packaging of this. It's so cute. It's like a little tree, like a little heart tree. And I'm just going to pop that quite far back and then just slightly near the front. And then what I like to do after that is, so after I've applied the blush, I like to take my powder brush and then just go over my blush just to make sure it's all kind of blended in. There's no kind of harsh lines. It kind of just looks like a flush of colour rather than like a line. And then for highlight, I'm going to use a new highlight that I bought today, and this is the W7 Glow Commotion Shimmer Highlighter Eyeshadow, and this is just one set shade, I think. It's just a highlighting powder, and it is a beautiful gold colour, and I'm a little bit worried that it might be a bit dark for my skin tone, but here's hoping. It's so beautiful, isn't it? I'm hoping that it's going to be okay. I'm just going to take this on a fan brush. Oh, she's so beautiful. And this is like a couple of quid, this highlighter. So nice, and it feels so buttery. Like, that's the reason I bought it. Like, when I touched it in the shop, oh my goodness, I was like, oh my god, I love it. I love it. And there we have it. That is our updated kind of bronzed, but not too bronzed, summery kind of glam look. What I'm going to do is I'm going to finish the rest of my makeup off camera, and I'll be right back. So here I am back with my eyes and lips done. If you want to see how I achieved this eye and lip look, then please click down below. There'll be another video following this one on this whole look. I hope you enjoyed this video of my new and updated foundation routine, kind of like a bronzed kind of glam look. If you like this video, please don't forget to give it a big old thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if that's what you want to do, and I'll see you on the next video. Love you.